In this video, we're going to cover the basics of github.com. We're going to cover how to create a project locally and then push it up to a repository that we create at github.com. So let's start by just making a sample project. CD in here and make just a basic index.html that doesn't have any code yet. Now, once I'm ready to create a repository at github.com to sync it, we'll just go to GitHub, new repository, give it a name, an optional description. You can check private if you want this code to be hidden from the world, but just know that you only have a couple private repositories as a user until you have to pay for them. Skip the initialize README project and hit create repository. Now, GitHub actually gives you some directions on how to actually sync your project locally to this GitHub repository, but the really important part is this git remote add origin. Adding an origin to our local project will essentially tie this project up on github.com to our local project. So to begin, let's go back into our command line and we'll run git init. What that's going to do is initialize Git for our project. You only want to do this once. Next, we're going to do is we're going to add all of our code instead of just the README. We don't even have a README as they do in the sample here. So that added all our code to be committed. We'll name our commit. Now we're going to want to sync our remote up. This is another command that only happens once. Git remote add origin, and then this is just the actual URL of our Git. To check that that was successfully added, you can do git remote -v, and then the next thing we'll do is git push -u origin master. Now, if we hit refresh at github.com, we see that our project is synced up. We don't really have anything up there yet, so let's talk about how to actually sync up code. So that was the workflow for creating a project initially. You're only going to do those items once. What you're going to want to do now is get into the workflow of every time you add certain pieces of code to your project. How do we sync them then? So let's just add hello world to our index.html. Now, if we run git status, that shows us the state of our Git. And now it says that we have untracked files. So let's add our code, run git status again. It's green now, meaning it's been staged, but it's not actually been committed. And then after that, we just need to git push origin master. And if we go to github.com, we can now see that our code has been pushed to index.html. Now, just to recap, there was a couple commands we did for setting up our project, such as git init, and those commands are only going to do once. But the typical workflow you're going to get into is you're going to add some code to your project, and then you're going to add it to be committed with git add all. You're going to name your commit. And then you're going to git push origin master. And at any time, you can always run git status.